The NBA has had legends, but these guys, they terrified opponents. Shaquille O'Neal wasn't just tall. He was a 7 feet 1 inch, 320-pound force of destruction with 3 Finals MVPs to back it up. Magic Johnson might have smiled, but behind that grin was a 6 foot 9 inch genius who picked defenses apart like a surgeon. Bill Laimbeer didn't care if you hated him. He wanted it that way. Charles Oakley slapped Charles Barkley and made Shaq think twice. And Isaiah Thomas? He left the court with 42 stitches after one showdown. This isn't about stats, it's about fear. So if you're ready for the 10 scariest players in NBA history, don't just watch, subscribe. 10. Shaquille O'Neal. If you weren't scared of Shaquille O'Neal, you either weren't watching or weren't thinking straight. In his prime, Shaq was a legend. 3 straight championships, 3 Finals MVPs, and a level of physical dominance we may never see again. He was 7 feet 1 inch, 320 pounds, and when he got that look in the paint, defenders knew what time it was. He'd dunk on you without hesitation or hit that soft hook shot like it was nothing. Even as a rookie, he averaged 23.4 points and 13.9 rebounds. Sure, he was goofy off the court, but on it, terrifying. If he took free throws seriously or stayed in peak shape longer, he might top this entire list. 9. Magic Johnson. Don't let the smile fool you. Magic Johnson was scary for a whole different reason. Standing 6 feet 9 inches and running the point, he redefined the position. What made him terrifying wasn't brute force, but how he always saw 2 plays ahead. Defenders didn't just have to guard him, they had to survive him. His no-look passes, his pace on the break, and that killer instinct under pressure had entire defenses on edge. Guys were afraid of becoming his next assist victim. You mess up your defensive rotation, boom, you're on SportsCenter. He wasn't physical like Shaq or chaotic like Rodman, but mentally. Magic controlled the game like a puppeteer, and that kind of dominance was frightening in its own right. 8. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was the NBA's version of controlled madness. You weren't just worried about his defense, you were worried he might explode. From headbutting refs to diving into the crowd mid-play, Rodman kept everyone on edge. The hair, the stare, the tattoos, all part of the chaos. One commentator put it perfectly. Today's crazy players look like bunnies compared to Rodman. He kicked a cameraman, wore a wedding dress, and married himself. Yet through it all, he was elite. 13.1 rebounds a game, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 5 rings. Teams didn't just game plan for him, they braced for him. You couldn't predict what Rodman would do next, and that's what made him so terrifying on the court. 7. Maurice Lucas. Before Dennis Rodman was throwing elbows, Maurice Lucas was the fear. In the '77 Finals Game 2, he didn't just match the Sixers' physicality, he owned it. Lucas wasn't just muscle. He had skill, footwork, and size at 6 feet 9 inches, 220 pounds. But what made him terrifying? He never hesitated to stand up for his guys. You mess with a Blazer, and Lucas was right there, staring you down or throwing hands. He didn't have to fight every night. His presence kept people in check. That icy stare said everything. He gave his teammates confidence and made opponents nervous just by stepping on the court. That's real old school fear. No trash talk, just dominance. 6. Latrell Sprewell. Some players were scared of their matchups. Latrell Sprewell scared everyone. In '95, he threatened a teammate with a 2x4 and said he'd return with a gun. Sprewell had a serious game, no doubt, but under that talent was a ticking time bomb. Opponents, teammates, coaches, everyone walked on eggshells. Push him too far, and it wasn't just a flagrant foul. It was a full-blown meltdown. 5. Bill Laimbeer. Bill Laimbeer wasn't just okay with being hated, he loved it. As the anchor of Detroit's bad boys, he turned fear into strategy. He'd level guys with hard fouls, then act shocked when the whistle blew. Pure mind games. Most players feed off cheers. Laimbeer? He thrived off boos. Bill Laimbeer was on the Pistons to be big, mean, play dirty, and piss opponents off, one analyst said. And that's exactly what he did. Over 14 seasons with the Pistons and Cavs, he averaged 12.9 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 2 assists in 1,068 games. He made 4 All-Star appearances and won 2 rings. But make no mistake, Bill could hoop, smooth jumper, high IQ. You could hate him, but you couldn't stop him. 4. Charles Oakley. When Michael Jordan needed protection, he didn't need bodyguards. He had Charles Oakley. Before he was a Knicks icon, Oakley was MJ's on-court muscle. But it wasn't just brute force. Oakley was smart. Every shove, stare, and elbow was calculated. Charles Oakley wasn't just tough, he was one of the most feared enforcers in NBA history, one historian said. Play against him? You were in for a war. He didn't care who you were, coach, player, or even a stranger in a bar. Ask Charles Barkley. Oakley once slapped him mid-game, and even Shaq, all 7 feet 1 inch, 325 pounds, gave him space. In 19 seasons with 5 teams, he averaged 9.7 points, 9.5 boards, and 2.5 assists. Only one All-Star nod, but total respect league-wide. 3. Kermit Washington. Some moments never leave you. For Kermit Washington, it was the punch, the most brutal hit in NBA history. In 1977, during a heated scuffle, Rudy Tomjanovich ran in, likely to break it up. But Washington turned and unleashed a punch so violent it nearly ended a life. Rudy's face shattered, bones detached, spinal fluid leaked into his mouth. He needed full facial reconstruction. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar described the sound, like a melon dropping on concrete. That stuck with everyone. Before this, Kermit wasn't dirty, but after that punch, fear followed him. Everyone knew how strong he was, and what could happen if emotions flared. Tomjanovich barely survived. Washington was vilified, and the league never viewed on-court violence the same way again. 2. Ron Artest. Before the name changes, before the peace era, Ron Artest was chaos wrapped in muscle. In 2004, the malice at the Palace sealed his legacy. A fan threw a drink, and Artest, chilling on the scorer's table, snapped. He stormed into the stands, full-on brawl, full-on madness. He got suspended for 86 games, the longest in league history. But this wasn't new. Artest had a rep. As one analyst said, Ron was the NBA's head case. Teammates stayed cautious. Opponents stayed nervous. At 6 feet 7 inches, 260 pounds, he could clamp anyone on defense. But the real fear? You never knew which artist was coming, lockdown beast or the dude who might lose it mid-game. You could prep for talent, not for that kind of unpredictability. 1. Karl Malone. Karl Malone didn't just deliver buckets, he delivered pain. Those elbows, deadly. Just ask Isaiah Thomas. In 1991, Malone hit him with a straight elbow to the head, leaving him needing 42 stitches. Thomas didn't sugarcoat it. He called it the dirtiest and cheapest foul ever. And this wasn't a heat-of-the-moment accident. Malone meant it. It was a warning. Don't get too close. At 6 feet 9 inches, 260 pounds, Malone didn't need to talk trash. His physicality said it all. These weren't just NBA players. They were walking nightmares. Shaq didn't play. He overpowered. Ron Artest didn't just defend, he exploded. Karl Malone threw elbows like sledgehammers, while Dennis Rodman turned every game into controlled chaos. And Latrell Sprewell? One meltdown could change the whole season. These guys didn't chase fear, it followed them. Coaches warned rookies, veterans stayed ready, and fans, they never forgot.